these racist maggots, these folks, Donald Trump's people, they've always hated, could not stand, absolutely could not stand when we see these folks, these immigrants from all around the country. Couldn't stand it, just couldn't stand it. And they attacked, of course, Haitians in Springfield. They were attacking, they've been attacking people of color all around the country.
Somalians ripped off that state for billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. When they come from hell and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country.
It's just funny about bitching.
Congresswoman, do you agree with President Trump's assumption that you married your brother to get citizenship? Have you begun packing your bags for Somalia yet, Congresswoman Omar?
Not going anywhere.
So you're not?
No, don't waste your energy on me.
Do you have a message for President Trump?
I will be here probably longer than Trump.
Wait, do you have a message for President Trump?
I'm like a quarter of his age.
Do you have anything else you'd like to say to him?
Some old man losing his mind. I don't know why he's obsessed with me.
Interesting. Well, thank you, Congresswoman.
Yeah, I hope he gets help.
Thank you.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to continue our coverage of the blood feud between President Trump and Ilhan Omar, because it is getting deep, okay? It is getting deeply, deeply, deeply vitriolic. And I mean, this is just kind of where we're at this point. When you try to deal with waste, fraud, and abuse that is being facilitated and supported by Democrats, and they go out of their way to obstruct, yeah, I can understand why the president has a lot of choice words for Ilhan Omar and her ilk, okay? And as I told you guys yesterday, when President Trump went scorched earth on the Somali fraud scandal, that the mainstream liberal media will be boohoo, whining, and crying, racism, hate, and bigotry, okay? And we got to talk about that because they got a new one, right? It's not just racism, hate, and bigotry. Apparently, some people in the Somali community are crying jealousy, right? They're claiming that the president is targeting Somalis, not because of the fraud, right? But because he's jealous that Somalis are rich and successful in this country. Take a look.
You know, like the racists are actually just jealous of Somalis because of how successful we became in a matter of one generation. And I was watching a lot of videos that are coming up on my For You page where people are saying, how come Somalis have nice cars and we don't? We've been here like how many generations? We were born here, our ancestors are from here, but Somalis drive nice cars. This whole thing is just making me realize is jealousy. They're jealous of our success because they expect us like to be at the bottom of the bottom, right? And then we come here one generation, we work hard, we save our money. And Somalis are not the only community that committed fraud, okay? We're not all committing fraud, okay? Every community has bad apples, but they're trying to use that as leverage to hate on us, right? And attack our community. But what it is like when you're an immigrant group and you're black on top of that and you're African, they hate you to be successful. They hate you to be successful. Now, if we were like European immigrants, like maybe Bosnians who are Muslims or Russians, and they become successful, nobody would blink an eye because they're white. But the fact that we're brown people from Africa, you know what I mean? It kills them. Because the way we move, we don't move like we're inferior to anybody, right? And it's bothering them. And our name has reached the White House. That's how powerful the Somali community is. Wallahi, I have this thing where if Somalis work together, the only problem Somalis have is like, we need to build our country back. Wallahi billahi, we could have been like we could have been a superpower nation. How gifted Allah has made Somalis in making money, in being successful, in being able to see opportunity everywhere they go. All right, so there's this like guy on my For You page, and he was talking about, I used to be a handyman, and I see Somalis, they all have nice cars. And then, you know, the hate comments were down there, deport them, do this, do that.
Thank you, Brother Jaylani. Thank you, everybody, for being here. A couple of weeks ago, right-wing podcasters said Donald Trump should revoke temporary status for Somalis. 700 people across the country who are seeking refuge from famine and violence. So Trump did. And Republicans applauded or said nothing. Then Trump's agencies said they would be investigating false accusations connecting Somali citizens and terrorists. Again, Republicans cheered. Then we heard ICE agents would be coming to Minneapolis, where almost every Somali person living here is a citizen, many of us second or third generation. And again, Republicans either thanked him or said nothing. Yesterday, Donald Trump exposed what he really wants, what he really thinks, that Somalis are garbage. And that he does not want us here. That's dehumanizing and hateful language, and a direct threat to denaturalize and deport American citizens like myself. And where are the Republicans now? This morning, I emailed Republican leaders in the legislature and asked that they join us here, and that they speak out publicly or contact me directly and condemn what Donald Trump said about their fellow Minnesotans, their fellow citizens. So far, no response. My offer still stands.
But now, President Donald Trump singling out and attacking one group of people, and ICE being on our streets and asking people documentation. It feels like we are in 1930s, 1940s in Germany. I never thought there would be a time where I will tell my community to carry their passport around because you look like Somali, you might be stopped by ICE.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure if fraud counts as being successful, right? I mean, I'm just saying that if you're going to make the argument about, well, people just hate us because we're successful, you need to make sure that the way that you became successful is through legitimate means, right? Again, we're talking about fraud here, okay? Welfare fraud, in which you have a ton of people. Again, you talk about dozens and dozens of Somali individuals who have been indicted and charged for using taxpayer funds to live this quote-unquote successful lifestyle, right? And yeah, I'm just saying, I'm not entirely sure how you could say this is jealousy and hate, especially considering how all of these individuals who claim they're so successful here in the United States of America have unsuccessfully made Somalia great, right? So I'm just saying that is probably not the argument I would have made, right? I probably would have just stuck to the core issue, which is that, hey, what people have an issue with, more so than anything, is the fact that this fraud that happened on a major scale, we're talking about billions of dollars funneled to terrorists, happened because you have an immigrant community that was allowed to do this under the watch of Democrats. That is the main issue that these people are desperately deflecting from, okay? And that brings me to Ilhan Omar's response to President Trump's rant against her and the fraud that is happening in her city, in her state, because of course, instead of addressing the substance, it is boo-hoo, Trump is racist. That's what it is. Take a look.
And joining us now for her first interview since the comments from the president is Congresswoman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. She came to the U.S. from Somalia as a child and became an American citizen about 25 years ago. Congresswoman, thank you for being with us. The president attacked you personally yesterday, and I want to play more of what he said.
Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain.
Congresswoman, how do you respond to that?
Well, thank you, Anna, for having me. I would say the president's obsession with me and the Somali community is really unhealthy. It's creepy. And I hope that he gets the help that he needs. It sounds like he is trying to deflect from the failures that he's had as president. His immigration rates are not going in the way that he's expected. We know that the tariffs are not working to make life affordable for Americans. We know that he is afraid of what is in the Epstein files as he's fought to be the head of the pedophile protection party. And we know that right now he is being investigated for war crimes that he might have committed when he ordered what seems to be illegal attacks against boats in the Caribbean.
Your district has the largest population of Somali immigrants in the U.S., around 80,000 in the state of Minnesota. This isn't the first time the president has made derogatory comments about your community. Last week, he threatened to end temporary protected status for Somali immigrants in the state. He alleged without evidence Somali gangs are terrorizing the state. In his first term, he called the Somali resettlement in the state a disaster. Why do you think he's so focused on this community, and what impact does that kind of racist and dehumanizing language have?
He's always been a racist, a bigot, a xenophobic, and Islamophobic. We know that he called African nations a shithole in his first administration. We know that when he came down that escalator, he said he was going to stop Muslim immigration into this country. And so it is not surprising that he is going after black immigrants in this country. And it's certainly not surprising that he's choosing a black immigrant community that is also Muslim. But what I would like to say is that most of us are citizens. On our passport, it says we are nationals of this country. We love that Minnesota has welcomed us. Many of us have not been settled in Minnesota. We chose it as a home because the Minnesota people and the state is beautiful and very welcoming. And we are going to be here regardless of what the president has to say.
I agree. I love the Twin Cities. I love visiting your home state as well, Minnesota. Lots of good.
Yeah, so unsurprisingly, during this interview, not once did this BS now anchor ask Ilhan Omar about the actual substance, right? The anchor basically participated in the, oh, this is racism, hate, and bigotry conversation instead of addressing the actual fraud that is going on in Ilhan Omar's community, right? It's just funny how they don't want to talk about the real issue, okay? They want to talk about everything else except the real actual issue to be addressed here. So with that being said, President Trump clapped back at Ilhan Omar and what she said about him, and also the Democrats boo-hoo-wine and crying in full-blown panic over President Trump cracking down on the fraud and on immigration, specifically in Minneapolis. Take a look.
The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, is saying that he's actually proud to have the largest Somali community in the country, and his police chief.
Well, then he's a fool.
Well, his police chief is also saying
I wouldn't be proud to have the largest Somalian. Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. Look, these Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. It's a fraud. She tries to deny it now, but you can't really deny it because, you know, it just happened. She shouldn't be allowed to be a congresswoman, and I'm sure people are looking at that. And she should be thrown the hell out of our country. And most of those people, they have destroyed Minnesota, okay? Minnesota, you have an incompetent governor. You have a crooked governor. He's crooked as hell, but he's incompetent. Waltz he should be ashamed. That beautiful land, that beautiful state, it's a hellhole right now. And the Somalians should be out of here. They've destroyed our country. And all they do is complain, complain, complain. You have her. She's always talking about the Constitution provides me with, go back to your own country and figure out your Constitution. All she does is complain about this country. Without this country, she would not be in very good shape. She probably wouldn't be alive right now. So Somalia is considered by many to be the worst country on earth. I don't know. I haven't been there. I won't be there anytime soon, I hope. But what Somalia, what the Somalian people have done to Minnesota is is not even believable. It's not even believable. And a lot of it starts with the governor. A lot of it starts with Barack Hussein Obama, because that's when people started coming in. And you have to have people come in that are going to love our country, cherish our country. They want to kiss our country goodnight. They talk about our country. We want them to pray for our country. This is not the people living in Minnesota. And she's a disaster. She should not be, and her friends shouldn't be allowed. Frankly, they shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople, okay? They shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople because they don't represent the interests of our country.
Boy, I got to tell you guys, President Trump has been given some verbal beatdowns lately of Ilhan Omar. I mean, he is not holding back at all, okay? This guy is tearing her up, right? He's saying that you married your brother, you shouldn't be here, you shouldn't be allowed to be a congressman, you need to be deported back to your country. The country that you from ain't nothing, right? I mean, he is just, he's getting deep with it, right? He's getting very, very, very deep with it. I can only imagine what he be saying behind closed doors, right? Anybody that crosses this man, I'm telling you, he probably has a lot of vicious things to say behind closed doors. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is at this point. But like I said, you know, I don't blame the president for being pissed off, considering how Democrats allowed, again, billions of dollars in fraud to end up in the hands of terrorists, right? And that leads me to more reactions from so-called community leaders in response to President Trump going off on this fraud. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
Well, right now, the Council on American-Islamic Relations is responding to President Trump's comments on Somalis in Minnesota and Representative Ilhan Omar.
And we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain.
Frankie McLister joins us now from a press conference happening now. So, Frankie, what are they saying inside?
Yeah, hi there, Aaron. Good afternoon. We just actually stepped out of the presser as it's happening indoors. As I was leaving, they specifically spoke out about how they want you to know that the people of Somalia that are here in Minnesota are your students, your teachers. They also said that they are your truck drivers, too, and they all came here back in the late 1900s, all thanks to George Bush Sr. This all comes after a U.S. official told CBS News that ICE will be ramping up efforts this week. Now, yesterday, ICE was directed by the president to target undocumented Somali immigrants in the Twin Cities. The president stating at his cabinet meeting that he doesn't want them in our country. Minnesota's home to nearly 80,000 Somalis, and around 95% of them are U.S. citizens, according to CARE. The DHS Assistant Secretary said on CNN this morning that this is about public safety.
We're really looking at the data, the analysis here, particularly out of Minneapolis and other parts of the country where we're seeing Somalia. There's widespread fraud, particularly marriage fraud when it comes to immigration. We're looking at criminality here.
The Somali-American community came to Minnesota around the early 1990s, like myself in 1993. We've been in this country for now 30 plus years. And we came here because of the great generosity of this great country and by a president, George Bush Sr., who opened the door for immigration from Somalia.
Yeah, and you heard that right there. That's what the scene looks like inside right now. Just yesterday, the mayors of both St. Paul and Minneapolis spoke out saying that they stand with the Somali community. At that same press conference yesterday, Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says that he wants you to know that Minneapolis police do not work with federal enforcement. Aaron?
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? They don't want to work with the federal government. And, you know, again, that's why we're in this situation. And that's what people don't understand. I have to stress this in every video. Democrats have put themselves in this situation because they obstruct, because they don't want to work with the federal government, because they're not taking care of the fraud in their states, right, that is happening under their watch. Yeah, this is what happens as a result. And instead of addressing the actual core problem, right, if you take care of the fraud, here's the thing, right? if the sanctuary cities stop obstructing, if they work with the federal government, you're not going to see ICE do quote unquote extreme things in order to enforce the law, right? They only have to do these things because Democrats aren't cooperating. If you work with the federal government like they did with Obama, right? This is why you didn't see stuff like this under Obama. Then you ain't got to worry about it, right? We can enforce the law. We can get the criminals out of the country. We can focus mainly, again, on the violent people. We can get them out of the country. We can do the mass deportations. It's all good, right? If you do that, then you don't have a problem. If you clean up the fraud and prevent the fraud, if you actually allow oversight to make sure that welfare is not ending up in the hands of scammers, right? And this stuff isn't being abused by a very specific community of people, and allowing money to end up in the hands of terrorists, you ain't got to worry about it. Instead of cooperating and working with the federal government, working with the administration to solve the core issue here, all they want to do is deflect and boohoo, whine and cry, racism, hate, and bigotry. That's all they do. But crying racism, hate, and bigotry is not going to fix the problem, right? The problem is that you're not working with the federal government to deport the illegals. The problem is that you're allowing fraud. And as long as these people deflect, they're going to have to deal with these issues, right? They're going to have to deal with Trump saying mean things. They're going to have to deal with ICE raids. They're going to have to deal with all the things that they're boohoo, whine, and crying about right now. That's just where we're at, right? And the administration is not backing down. They don't care about your tears and your crying. The law has to be enforced, and we have to crack down on the fraud. And I think it's important to crack down on the fraud because, one, again, it's fraud. Okay, it's taxpayer dollars. But also on top of that is because Democrats are benefiting from the fraud. And that's the main reason why they allow it to happen, why they facilitate the fraud, and why they're complicit in the fraud. Okay, I think that Democrats need to start being held accountable, right? We need to see some arrests, to be honest with you, of some of these Democrats that allow this stuff to happen under their watch. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.